There was a time when I was head over heels for the 7.62 millimeter cartridge. Back in the day, I'd flip through gun magazines that trashed the 5.56, calling it a total flop in Iraq and Afghanistan. Then I signed up for the infantry, shipped out on a couple deployments, and got my hands dirty with both. Turns out reality is a better teacher than any magazine. Over time, I hauled rifles chambered in 7.62 and 5.56 through the muck, and I learned they're not rivals, they're just different tools with different jobs. So before you swear allegiance to one or the other, let's break it down. What's the real deal between these two, and when should you grab one over the other? Lucky for you, that's exactly what we're unpacking today. We'll hit their history, their purpose, and figure out which cartridge fits the mission. The 7.62 NATO rolled out in the 1950s, a beefy round built for the M14 and early machine guns like the M60. It was the Cold War darling, big, powerful, and ready to punch holes at long range. Then came the 5.56 by 45 millimeter NATO in the 60s, born from the Vietnam era and paired with the M16. Lighter, faster, and designed to let grunts carry more rounds without breaking their backs, it was a game changer. Both rounds have stuck around, but they've carved out their own niches. Today, 5.56 by 45 millimeter NATO is one of the most popular rifle cartridges on the planet, and almost certainly the most popular centerfire rifle cartridge in the United States. It is, for now, the primary rifle cartridge of all U.S. armed forces, as well as all major state and federal law enforcement agencies. It's also incredibly popular with civilian shooters, with at least 20 million AR-15s out there in the United States alone. The 7.62 is still utilized by many militaries and police forces outside of the United States, particularly in Asia and Eastern Europe, but for a range of reasons, it's starting to see a downward trend among foreign militaries. When you think about a real gunfight, factors like the shooter's skill, the engagement distance, and the environment are all crucial. In a tight urban setting where engagements are fast and the enemy might be popping out of doorways or behind walls, the quick follow-up shots provided by a 5.56 platform can be a clear advantage. The lighter recoil means you can get back on target faster and keep your eyes on the target rather than having to wrestle with muzzle climb after each shot. The 5.56 NATO is built for engagements at medium distances. It's not that it can't be used at longer ranges, but its ballistic design makes it more forgiving in close to medium-range firefights. The high muzzle velocity and flatter trajectory are major advantages when targets are within a few hundred yards. Its lightweight design helps soldiers carry more ammunition into the field. A fully loaded 30-round AR-15 magazine weighs about 16 ounces, give or take. A fully loaded 20-round SCAR H magazine weighs 17.6 ounces. That's a substantial increase in weight with a decrease in ammo. Ask any soldier. The average infantryman would rather carry more ammunition. More ammo equals more suppressive fire while bettering the ability to maneuver. The 7.62 has some real punch behind it, with the round retaining tremendous energy compared to the 5.56. If you're in an environment that's more open, such as a rural setting or long-range battle scenario, the 7.62's benefits become more apparent. Its heavier bullet not only carries more energy to disrupt cover, but also maintains its lethality over longer distances. 7.62 retains over 1,700 foot-pounds of energy at 500 yards versus 5.56, which hits 950 foot-pounds at 500 yards. Pushing out to 1,000 yards, the 7.62 loads retain over 1,000 foot-pounds of energy. In a scenario where you have time to line up a shot and every round counts, having a cartridge that delivers a one-shot stop can be critical. Even at moderate ranges, it outperforms the 5.56 ballistically, penetrating deeper and transferring more energy. But with that added power comes additional recoil and a heavier cartridge overall. That extra kick can make rapid follow-up shots a bit more challenging if you're not used to the heft. There's also the matter of over-penetration to consider. In urban combat scenarios where collateral damage is a serious concern, the 5.56 tends to be more forgiving because its lighter bullet is less likely to pass through a target and hit something, or someone, else behind it. This can be especially important in situations where split-second decisions matter and you're not 100% certain of what lies beyond your target. The 7.62, by contrast, carries more mass and energy, which means that if you're not careful, you could inadvertently create more harm than good. The debate isn't just about raw performance. It's also about the intended mission. Modern military forces, for example, have largely shifted toward the 5.56 NATO because the advantages in weight, magazine capacity, and controllability in close-quarter situations tend to outweigh the benefits of the 7.62 in many operational contexts. Meanwhile, special units or roles that require engagements at extended ranges or in scenarios where barriers are more prevalent might favor the 7.62 round for its proven ability to punch through obstacles. Many experts point out that while the 5.56 might be easier to control and allows for a higher rate of fire, its smaller bullet size can sometimes translate to less stopping power, particularly when facing an opponent with heavy body armor. In these cases, the sheer mass and energy of the 7.62 give it an edge. That's why some specialized units, when confronted with heavily armored threats, might opt for weapons that chamber the 7.62 round or even other calibers that offer similar performance characteristics. Advances in ammunition technology have blurred some of the traditional differences between the two. Modern 5.56 rounds have seen improvements in terms of terminal performance, and some variants are designed to expand more reliably upon impact, making them more effective in stopping a threat. Likewise, advancements in recoil mitigation systems and weapon design have helped make the 7.62 more manageable than it used to be. This means that the debate isn't solely about inherent design flaws or advantages. It's about how each cartridge is implemented in modern combat systems. The psychology of using one round over the other is also a fascinating aspect to consider. Some shooters report that the feel of the 7.62 instills a higher degree of confidence when making a critical shot, even if it means dealing with a bit more kick. Others prefer the almost butterfly ease with which the 5.56 allows for follow-up shots in the heat of the moment. In a way, these preferences can influence training and ultimately performance in a live situation. When you're under stress, muscle memory and familiarity with your weapon can make all the difference, regardless of the cartridge. So which is better in a gunfight? It's a question that doesn't have a neat answer. Both the 5.56 NATO and the 7.62 NATO have proven themselves in countless engagements and under a variety of conditions. The right choice depends on what you need from your weapon system, the environment you're operating in, and your own training and comfort with the platform. It's not just about the cartridge, it's about how that cartridge fits into the broader picture of tactics, equipment, and mission objectives. Thanks for hanging out and going through this detailed breakdown. I hope this deep dive has given you a clearer picture of the nuances behind these two popular calibers. Whether you're a dedicated firearms enthusiast, a professional, or just someone who loves to learn about the technology behind modern combat, the discussion's far from over. There are always new developments on the horizon and plenty of room for debate on which system holds the advantage. If you enjoyed this video and found the discussion informative, be sure to leave a comment down below with your thoughts on the 5.56 versus 7.62 debate. I'd love to hear about your experiences or any insights you might have from the field. And if you haven't already, consider subscribing to the channel so you don't miss out on future content where we'll break down more topics like this one.